Welcome, Priyesh, to the Vulnerable Voices podcast, our
Thank you.
first episode in person. How's
Excited.
it feel being in front of the camera?
Odd being this side, because I'm either a host or behind the camera. So, yeah, I wasn't nervous before. Now I'm thinking, oh shit, what am I doing?
You'll be absolutely fine. I just wanted to also say thank you for agreeing to come on the podcast. A lot of filmmakers are comfortable behind the camera, but you've been brave enough to come in front of it today and share a bit
Thank
about
you for
your
having me.
journey.
No.
So tell us a little bit about you and your journey so far.
First and foremost, I am a very proud father. I like to lead with that rather than what I do as a job, because my daughter's everything to me. I love her so much. Yeah, proud father and a husband. I have a lovely wife who, she's just been such a great support throughout this whole journey, and yeah, I owe everything to her. But also, I am a filmmaker, I'm a documentary filmmaker.
How did you get into film? Have you always been quite creative? So growing up, were you around, I know my generation, I'm a millennial, so I grew up with my grandparents, like big families, communities, cousins. And there's always someone around with a camera, whether it was disposable or something. There was always someone that was encouraging, like, getting photos and memories and things. Did you grow up in similar dynamics?
Yeah, so my nana he always used to roll around with the camera. And that's where I kind of picked it up from. So I used to take it off him and film like events, family events, or whatever it was that we were at. Actually, we were looking at some videos from like family holidays we went on, and there's some videos of me like just rolling around, be like, there's the sun, there's there's a camel, there's the desert. Like, it's just really weird. It's quite funny watching it back. But that's how it kind of got started. But I didn't really pick up the camera again until later on, when I was probably in my 20s actually. I've always been really interested in people's stories, and what drives them, and I feel like everyone's got a story to tell, and everyone's story is really important. So I've always been really interested in people. That's why I studied psychology at university. And then, am I answering your question? Sorry.
Yeah, keep going.
Is it?
It's
Yeah, okay,
natural.
fine.
I like it.
And then, actually, so I went on holiday with an ex-girlfriend, actually, and I did this whole film of our holiday, and I did like a little, like a montage I put together, and I really enjoyed it. And I was like, I remember specifically, I was in the shower, and I had this idea, so how can I piece the two things together? How can I do what I love in terms of, speaking to people and finding out their stories, but then also doing this camera stuff that I've found a new love for. And I was like, well, why don't I just put them together and tell people's stories on camera? And then that's kind of how the Open Journal started.
How do you feel holding the camera? Because I've worked with you a few times, and you are so brilliant with people. You're so creative, and like the way you are able to tell a story with just getting to know someone in like half an hour, you do it so well. How do you actually feel when you're directing, you're curating like a story in mind that you want to like put across, and then, what feeling comes for you when you're actually creating? Because that is sort of a real connection to who you are deeply, a very deeply creative person.
That's a hard one to answer, because I don't think it's the camera I'm ever connected with. It's always the person on the other side. That's always my focus, and it is less about, obviously it's important, like the framing and how it looks and stuff like that. But I feel like that just comes once you've kind of built that relationship with the person on the other side of the camera. I'm never looking for anything specific either. Obviously, it depends when you're doing like highlight content for, all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, you have a certain set of shots you have to get, but the stuff that we really that we do that we really care about, which is the documentary stuff, and like the open journal. I'm never looking for anything. I'm just looking. I'm never looking for anything. I'm never looking for anything specific. It's just more about whatever comes out of that conversation.
So like your intuition, you're quite intuitive.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really good point to make, especially given being a male and boys listening as well, to actually be in tune with your intuition, which I've gauged this energy from you since we met. I think it was at a Red Lotus event. You were across the room, you were doing your thing and really talking to people, and I just felt like this energy where, in my head, I remember saying to myself, he actually cares. Like, he actually cares about people. So would you say it's more like intuitively led, and you kind of go with that?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. There's another thing, I think, like being behind the camera there's a safety element to it as well. Like, I feel like I'm a really good writer, like I can write really well, and I have a lot of good ideas, but I struggle to speak it out loud. So I've done like public speaking stuff before, and I know they've been good, but I've had time to sit and get my ideas onto paper, and then I'm able to get it out. But like right now, I feel like this is a bit of a struggle. Like, I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to get it out. Do you know what I mean? So when I'm behind the camera, I feel like that's how I'm able to channel my thoughts and my feelings and emotions and stuff, because it's almost like I'm able to get it to build that by talking with the other person in front of me. Does that even make any sense?
Yeah, I think we're similar in that sense. So I struggle with verbally initially expressing. So that creative part that you mentioned, it's giving you time to process everything in a calm way. So you behind the camera, kind of processing what you filmed and the story you want to create and the feeling, actually is because you're super calm to be able to like express it and have had time to think about it. Whereas this, which is incredibly brave, so thank you, be an example for other people, is you have been willing to come out your comfort zone to share, but it's not a natural process to talk about such deep things just in the moment like that. People really need the time. So totally get it.
I'm learning right now what it's like to be behind the camera like this. So I apologise to anyone who's been on the other side.
This is just what makes you authentic, though. It's you showcase not only to people that it's okay to be vulnerable and brave and also take part in something like this, but then you're able to connect with people when you are filming and understand and empathize what they might be going through when they're in front of a camera. So I think this just goes to your reputation and the work that you do. You're always evolving, aren't you? How has the filming changed since you were young and you were being around your nana and the camera and capturing the sun and other things? How has that evolved for you? And how have you tied psychology into this? I'm curious to know.
Yeah, so like I said, I've always been fascinated by people. I remember when I was younger, when we had like dial-up internet connection, and I don't remember specifically how I came across the term psychology, but I was young and I started doing research on it, like what is psychology, and I just got really into it. And then I remember I wrote, when I was going to college, I think it was, you have to write, you have to do a UCAS form, like, what is it? The, not reference, but it's not a character reference, but you have to write like personal statement, sorry. Yeah. And I remember because my friends take the piss out of me for it now. But I was like, on part of that, I was like, sometimes I sit on the bus and I just watch people and it sounded really weird.
The creep on the bus.
It's like, yeah. So they take the mick out of me for it. But it was more like, what I really meant by that was like, I just observe people, like the way they are, and what I'm always thinking, like, I wonder what they're going through right now. And it's always been since I was young. I always thought, like, what, anyone could be walking past, and sometimes you feel, linking to another story, I remember one time I was going for a shoot and this lady just walked past and I could just feel like a heavy energy. And I was like, what's wrong? Like, what are you going through that I can feel this energy? I don't know what it was. I can't even explain what it felt like, but it was just heavy. And so yeah, from a young age, I've always known that when I grow up, I want to do something that's involving people. Like I want to always be around people. And so yeah, going back to that psychology story. So then I was like, yeah, this is what I want to study. I know it's different. Like the 98% of the course, that's not a correct figure, but was mainly women on the course. So it was different because a lot of people were just doing business studies or like, but I loved it. I just never knew. Well, after I graduated, I was like, how do I didn't want to go down the NHS route of becoming a therapist and all that stuff. I loved business. So I started businesses, failed at businesses, did a whole bunch of things. And then, yeah, finally, eventually came to what we're doing today. So the camera stuff.
I love that. It's, you seem like a very like sensitive in the right way, where it's like empathy towards people, how they feel. You pick up on that. It's an energy, isn't it? And actually they say energy is contagious. So if you're feeling stressed, I'll probably feel stress just being around you, and that sort of hormone that gets released. So it's nice that you also encourage, I think, as a millennial and, you know, our cultural backgrounds being Indian, our families want us to be successful, right? They go lawyer, accountant, those kind of jobs. But psychology, actually, thinking about it, it wasn't so hot on the market as a thing to study or do as a job back then. Were you encouraged, would you say, by your family to explore that? And do you feel growing up you're encouraged to be yourself?
100%, yeah. Like, I think that's why I feel so free to kind of do what I want. Even when I started this, like I never wanted to rely on my mum or my family. So I know sometimes I'm a bit of a dick sometimes, but like I never wanted to rely on it. But she was like, mate, just do what you want. I remember I was at this job. I was at so I graduated, obviously started a ton of businesses, and then I worked at, so this job that I was working at previously during like the holiday period at university, it was a customer service role. And I hated it, like I hated it so much. And I remember I came home and I cried to my mum. I was like, sorry, me and my mum had a bit of an argument, and I just burst out into tears. I was like, I'm just stressed out. It's like, why don't you just say, why don't you just say that? It's fine. It's like, just leave. Just go and hand in your notice. Like, just leave and it's fine. You're at home. You've got nothing to worry about. And at the time, also, I was supposed to go on holiday with my grandparents. And I was like, I don't know when I'm going to get this opportunity ever again. So I remember I asked for some time off, and I said, look, I know it's a little bit more time off, so I'll take it unpaid. It's completely fine. And they rejected it. And I was like, well, fuck you then. And I just handed my notice in. And it's the best thing ever. Like it was so liberating to feel like actually you've got control of your own life. Like you don't, because in that moment it's like I felt like I owed them something. That was the best feeling ever. And then I went on holiday for a month, and it was the best.
You forgot about the job.
I forgot. Yeah.
You got in the flight. You're like, what job?
Yeah.
It's interesting because you went into customer service, which again is a people-related focused role. What do you think they were lacking in terms of the customer service people, like connection to people? Like, what was not enjoyable about that role?
It was dog work, honestly. Like, it was just numbers, that churning through numbers, and you're speaking to people who are already angry because their order's not arrived, and I was like, oh, fuck's sake, like, but even in that role, like even when they're angry, I remember like you still have so much empathy for them, because like it was kind of annoying sometimes, because I'm like, they're sitting there shouting at you or swearing at you, and I'm like, I actually really understand what you're going, like genuinely, and I'm really, really sorry that it's happened. If I can give you more discount, honestly, this is the most discount I can give you without having to go to my supervisor.
It's so nice of you when you're being yelled at by someone, like, no, it's okay. And they're like, why aren't you getting angry at me as well?
I remember if I was working on a Friday and if someone's order's not been delivered, and I'd be like, look, okay, cool, I'm setting this up for you, I'm resending it out, it should be there by, I don't know, tomorrow, next day delivery. And I'd be thinking about it the whole weekend. I'm like, oh, shit, what if it doesn't get there? What if it doesn't get there? They're going to be pissed off. And whatever. And then come Monday, and I'd give them, it'll be on my mind the whole weekend. So I'd call them. I'd be like, I'm just chasing up, making sure everything's okay. So the response was always like, they got really great customer service, which is great, but it was dog work, man. I hated it. I just hated it.
I think a lot of people, particularly in the creative industry, what I found is you actually just prefer working for yourself.
100%.
You get to own it, you get to flexibility, also your vision, it's yours when you're creating as well. And I think it's probably the best customer service. I think if you were someone that's serving me, I'd probably give you like 5-star reviews, 100%. Do you ever find your empathy and your, not need or want, but like want to help people has ever been too much for you? And have you ever had to sort of learn to set a few boundaries with how much of people's weight or stories or emotions you take on to sort of protect yourself a little bit?
Has it been
like, have you had to sort of reassess how much you invest in people to take care of them? Because naturally you're quite an empathetic, sensitive soul.
No. I thought about this a lot. There's been quite a few stories I've told that I've been very like deeply involved with, like throughout the whole process, and they stay with me. They are heavy sometimes. Like the stories are really heavy. As an example, like one of the first open journals, obviously there was my mum, but there was a lady called Seema. I was very good friends with her husband, and she had metastatic breast cancer. And we became really good friends with the family as well. Her son, Jay, and obviously husband Manish. And she wanted to tell her story through the platform of the Open Journal. She already had an idea of what it was about, and I spent 8 hours with her, capturing her story, and it was heavy. It was really heavy to know that this beautiful soul is not going to be around for forever, and she's leaving behind her husband, the family, and her little boy. But I think about it all the time, and I think it's made me a better father, because I always think like, what if I'm not around? Like, at that time, the time I'm sitting at my door, is it really good quality time? Like, how will she remember me? There was another story as well. Shraddha, she lost her son at 18 months old from cancer. And she shared her whole story with me, but I take those stories with me, and they almost become part of my life, and not in a negative way. Obviously, it's really sad that it's happened, but I feel like I've used them to live a better life, if that makes sense.
Like the lessons learned from the bigger picture of what's happened. It's almost like you zone out and go, do you know what? Having heard real people's stories, which I think is incredible to have real people, everyday people, their stories, because actually when you come away from it, you learn the lessons from the experience to then live your life maybe differently or have a different perspective on life. So how do you, or have you ever, over the years of experience that you've got in what you do, have you learned how to detach from some of those heavy emotions? Because it is a lot to take on, and obviously as humans we do need to protect ourselves a little bit and have some boundaries of how much we take on and how little we take on. Have you had to sort of learn to detach from some of those heavy emotions and stories, or are you quite comfortable with sitting with those and taking it as a learning experience?
No, I think that's why the Open Journal exists as it is now, because it doesn't scare me, or I don't feel... I embrace those moments, those really like awkward, or sometimes it's really awkward, but sometimes it's really those really heavy moments. Like, you know, when someone's opposite you and they're in tears, sometimes the natural thing is either to fill the gap with saying something like, "Oh, are you okay?" or hang them a tissue. But I just stay silent and just let the emotion be whatever it has to be. And I've got better and better at that. And part of that is just holding that space for someone. That term gets thrown around a lot as well, holding a safe space for someone. But that doesn't have to mean anything apart from just listening and not filling the gaps like unnecessarily. And I feel like sometimes that's where either real growth happens, or sometimes breakthroughs, or sometimes like that people just realizing or talking about something that they've never spoken about before. That's happened quite a lot. But I've never felt like I've had to detach from anything. I feel like I've always, when that happens, I'm always embracing it even more. And I don't take anything home in terms of like, I don't ever, stories will affect you, don't get me wrong. Like sometimes I think about Seema, and I think about Shraddha, and I think about all the other stories that we've told, and it makes you feel, sometimes you feel really sad that it's happened. But then I always try and channel that energy in through my own life. I don't know if that even makes any sense at all, but
no, it's a very high empathetic, not move, but like character quality for you. Actually, you said things like presence, and I think a lot of people are lacking presence with each other, whether it's lack of time, lack of interest, lack of curiosity. And actually you just being present and letting someone have the emotion to cry. I know I've cried in front of you and many others. You just need that safety, isn't it? So would you say that growing up you've been kept safe with your emotions? So like with your mom, for example, you said that actually you came home after the customer service job and you cried and you got upset about the role and how you felt. Would you say you had space to be free and express emotion growing up, and that's where you've learned to do that for others? Like if you were angry, you just like, I just want to be angry for a bit, or I just want to vent this, and they just hold the space without judgment, without going, just get over it, just like wipe your tears and stop crying. Like, do you feel you were held in that like you do for other people? Yeah,
I think that I remember there was a time growing up where I remember my mom was like, why are you so secretive? And it's like, it's not that I never felt safe saying it out loud. I was like, or maybe I didn't, I don't know. But as time went on, it just become open. Like I could just say whatever I wanted. Me and my mum always had like an amazing relationship. I don't know how to answer that, because I feel like now I'm thinking about it, like it's always been really open. I've never felt, and maybe that is why, I don't know. Why does that, I've never had to think about it.
How is it for you from a male perspective, as a man, to have your emotions embraced and respected and given a space for it? Because I know there's a lot of boys and men out there who I speak to and have known that as the opposite. They hide because they can't share, they judge, they criticize. How has that been for you? As actually I've had an open space and I personally would feel free, like someone's accepting me, I can just be authentic. Like how has that felt for you, being like, I've grown up in a really open household?
Do you know why I'm struggling to answer that? Is because I've never known the opposite. So I don't know what it feels like to not feel like you can be open. And so I'm really struggling to answer that question, because it's...
Do you feel safe, like just to be you?
Always, yeah. Yeah, I've never felt like I have to be anyone else. There's times when you're growing up where like, actually to be honest, I remember like there was, you're always trying to find who you are, and everyone goes through that process, right? Like you don't really know who you are, and there were maybe like character traits that I didn't quite like I was very shy growing up. I was a really, really shy child, and I didn't like it. Like I didn't like being shy. And when I went to college, I just decided like I'm not going to be shy. And I think there was a part where I just ended up maybe being a little bit more arrogant than just the complete opposite. Yeah. But I think that's just a part of like trying to figure out who you want to be. But I felt safe figuring that out, if that makes sense. It's never been like, I've never felt like not safe trying to figure that out.
I think that's an important thing to actually highlight is psychological safety, emotional safety, physical safety for a child growing up. Like, it's really important that parents or family dynamics or however you grow up, that level of safety is there, because you've just said you've not experienced the opposite. And I'm so glad that you haven't, because we might not be having this conversation. You might not be where you are today and how you empathize with people. But actually the importance of psychological safety, to cry, to feel, to explore who you are. We're figuring out all the time, aren't we? But you've had this like foundation of be you, you're seen, you're heard, you're validated. And that's thanks to, the pillars that you've had growing up with your family.
Yeah, sorry, can I just say, whilst it's in my head, otherwise it's going to go.
Go for it.
I'm just thinking about it when you were speaking. I was like, actually, I think it's because I've always seen my mum do more for other people. Like, she's always given her all for other people and put herself last every single time. So she's always been about this. Her life's always been Seva, basically. And I feel like maybe that's why, it has to be. That's the only reason why we've been like that.
Mums are like natural givers, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're nurturers. But sometimes you forget that mums actually need to be given the same back, and actually they deserve what they give too. And it sounds like she's just an incredible person. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your relationship with your mum, and obviously you sadly lost her during COVID.
Yep.
If you feel comfortable to share that journey, and how did you feel throughout the journey of losing her during COVID, and sort of did you get support as well?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So me and my mum, my sister, we've just always had like a wicked relationship. Like, me and my sister are really tight. And I see siblings, sadly sometimes you see siblings and they just don't talk or they don't get along. And me and my sister, we argue so much, but I know that we're always boys, isn't it? Like, it's not that relationship.
Sibling love, like, why did you steal my ball? I was going to use that. Or what are your problems? Like, yeah.
Oh, well, arguments are worse.
Maybe another spin-off, the real reality behind sibling arguments.
Yeah, well, if you're watching this,
stay tuned for the next Priyesh episode.
But I think that's been instilled because of my mum. Like, my mum's always been like, you've always only got each other, so always look after each other. Like, my mum would always be like, look, almost to the point where if you had to choose between me and your sister, like, always choose your sister. And so that's always been instilled in both me and my sister. We've had a wicked relationship. Like, it's just fun.
Are you the youngest?
Oldest.
The oldest.
Some people think I'm the youngest sometimes. It's just been, we just had a really great relationship. Like, mum's always had an open household. So, like, she always had friends coming over. People would just, anytime, like, the door would just open, someone's there just having dinner and whatever. Mum's making food, or actually my dad would be making food and mum would be just chilling. No, it's just been really open. And growing up, like, this is what I always say now to Shaq. So, like, I want to have a life like that, where the door's just open to anyone.
It's like a cultural thing. They had large communities, and that's how they kept safe and connected, and sort of you learn from each other, don't you? So it's nice that you want to carry that on. Yeah,
you get it less and less now. Like, when we were younger, we could just go to families' houses like, without trying to put a date in the diary. And now,
if you want to meet, here's my date.
And then you have to move that date because something. I get it, you get busy, but I miss those times when you could just rock up and. All my friends now, I'll make myself at home. Like, even you people sometimes, if they feel comfortable, I'll just go and help myself and make myself a cup of tea and stuff like that, because that's the kind of relationship I want to have with people. Just, life is about relationships, isn't it? Like, the people you have around you, and I just want to be open with everyone, and like, even yourself, like, just treat this house as your home. Like, that's
honestly, you are the most welcoming person. Like, it's just, you know what, that to me is what real community is, isn't it? And it's like feeling at home. You feel at home with someone.
So on that point of community, like, Mondays played such a huge part in my life as well. So, and that Monday community has been like growing up with them, especially like the boys in Coventry, like they've all been family to me. So like every time I'm in Coventry, like it's their house is like my house. I can just go there and whatever. And it's like we've always had such a great relationship. Like even now, I know that like my nanny's in Coventry. I got my mama's there, whatever. But if something happens to nanny, like so, I don't know, like recently her boiler went down, and there's someone from the Mandir community that will just go and just see if she's all right. Like you never have to worry.
Have you always gone to the Mandir, like when you were young?
Yeah, always. Although there was a period of time when I grew up and I like kind of lost my way, and then like I feel like everything happens for a reason. So I chose to go to Leicester because I wanted just a different, like I just wanted to be away from everyone, start something completely fresh. Yeah, but yeah, and then I just kind of like reconnected with the boys that I grew up with in Cov, and then I remember one night again, they were around at my place, and I came home after night out. They were just there, and I was just in tears. I was like, something just feels missing, and I just don't know what it is. And then they said, look, why don't you come Monday and just speak to one of the Santos there? And I did, and then I just started going back into Monday and stuff. And I feel like that's what's really kept me grounded.
That's a good word.
Yeah, because life just goes like this, right? All the time. There's just almost so much shit going on, but like Monday and having that faith is something that's always kept me just like, it's fine. Like this is the focus.
So were you would you say, a little bit lost before you'd sort of then invested more time and energy in going to the Monday, because it almost gave you back like faith and belief that you're going to be okay, like we're here?
Yeah, I think, again, I was talking about that whole thing of like trying to find who you are and going through that process, and I was like, something's just missing. And growing up, like I remember like I went to school and everyone was drawing their favorite boy band or whatever, and I didn't know any. The only thing I knew was like the albums that you get through Monday and stuff, and I drew that. But then somewhere along the way, like I don't know, I just kind of lost it. And I know through that whole period of time, there was always feel like something was missing. And when you don't know what's missing until you found it, right? Obviously. And so when I started going back to Monday and stuff again, like it was just like, this is it, like, cool. And obviously that's been a journey too, but it's just been the one thing that's kept me like straight. And it was a big thing when Mum passed as well. Yeah. So going back to, I don't even know if I answered the question with Mum and relationship, but yeah, Mum's been like more of a friend to us than anything. And I think it's kind of the reason why I want to be the kind of father to my daughter, like the way my mum was to us. Just one story, but I remember my mum was reading Lord of the Rings to me and my sister.
Those chunky books.
Chunky books, yeah. And she was like, you guys can just call me Ange if you want to. And then ever since then, I've always just called her Ange. Or obviously I call her Mum, but I feel comfortable calling her Ange. Like it really felt like a proper friendship. But COVID came, and COVID was arguably it has been the most difficult time ever. So 2019 I met, how do I weave these stories in? Do I talk about meeting Shax first? Because obviously that's a big part of...
So you met Shakira first, before your mum passed away, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a bit about your journey with meeting Shakira, your journey with that, and then what had happened and how actually you two support each other through this journey?
Yeah.
Because it's important.
Cool.
Relationship dynamic.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. So after I moved back to London, like, I feel like I've skipped so much. There's so much happened. Okay.
So you went through the loss of your mum about 2019.
2020.
Around COVID. Take us back a little bit around 2019 when you met Shakira. and then the journey after that, and how sort of the journey with losing your mum during COVID, with now Shakira in the picture, sort of unfolded for you.
So I met Shax in 2019. We actually kind of accidentally met, I guess.
I love those.
Because, well, we met online, but it was on Hinge. And on Hinge, I don't know, at the time, you couldn't set your height or something like that. So that's the only reason why we matched, because Shax's height preference on all the other apps was set to like 6 foot and above. And I'm definitely not 6 foot.
A beautifully tall woman.
Yeah. Because she's tall herself, right? So I think we accidentally matched, and then we got talking, and then I was at the time, I'd left another job, a contract role. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm such a bad employee. Like, I'm such a terrible employee. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just going
What? Not
full-time.
with your great customer service experience?
I've always just liked the freedom. Like, I want to get a haircut whenever I want to get a haircut, or just
have lunch on your lunch break.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't want someone to tell me that. I don't want to have to ask someone to take a holiday. Like, I want a day off. I don't want to ask someone. Like, I can never get my head around that. Like,
have you ever been in companies where you have to get approval for pre-booked holiday, but like, I'm not getting your approval, I'm telling you I'm taking a holiday?
Yeah, so this happened actually. So I was, when I was contracting at a place in Warwick, I was like, look, I'm going home for the holiday. We had to work during Christmas period. And I was like, I'm going home for holidays. And she was like, yeah, well, put it in and request it. I was like, I'm not requesting it. I'm telling you, I'm going home during the holidays. And I came home. And anyway, me and my manager then, we didn't, to begin with, we didn't see eye to eye, but eventually we just became really good friends as well, which is nice. See, I know I've just never made a great employee. I just couldn't get my head around like someone telling you that you've only got 25 days or 30 days to take in a year, or you know, if you want to, you can't get a haircut whenever you wanted to and whatever.
Too like restrictive, isn't it?
Yeah. So I always knew that I wanted to have a business, but more so because in the future, if I have kids, I want to be able to take them to every single, I don't know, after school club that they have. I want to take them to school and I want to pick them up from school. I want to do all that stuff. I just want to be there for everything and just spend time with the family, because that was my aim. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but it will happen. So that's always been my aim. It was never about like, I don't care. I know you need money, right? You need money to live life, but yeah. I just don't care about it. I really just don't care about it. I care for more the experiences and the time that you spend with people. That doesn't mean you don't pay your invoices, people. So
yeah, or book Priyesh for some shoots and filming. They're brilliant. If you haven't watched them, please do. He didn't pay me to say that.
So yeah, that's always been like my aim. And then anyway, I moved back to London and I started I was contracting. I was contracting for about a year, and obviously when a restructure happens, they get rid of contractors first, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go and just do this thing full time. And I was terrible at the time. I wasn't great with the camera, but I worked on a couple of projects, and then you kind of get the confidence, like, you know, I can figure this out.
What kind of projects were they?
Documentaries. So the documentaries I worked on to begin with, which was they were amazing. For various reasons, they didn't work out or go to where they needed to go, but that's a complete other story.
Though, isn't it?
It's an amazing, really great experience. So we actually went to the project we worked on. We went to India and worked with girls but there's this high rates of child marriage and sex trafficking. We went over there so my friend who works for Arsenal, he went over there to basically teach them football, but also gift them like Arsenal gifts and stuff like that during Christmas period. And we went over there to document it, and some of the stories are horrendous. Like, they stick with me now. I think about them a lot. And so, fast forward, worked on that project, and then 2019 came. I was working. We're kind of towards the end of 2019. I was working with one of my best friends. We had this tech podcast that we were working on. And I was on the apps. Like I wanted to meet someone. I wanted to settle down, and then met Shax, but again by accident. And then I don't know why I just stopped replying to her. I think I just got busy, like in the whole, like you know, with the trying to figure out
text all the time.
Yeah, and just trying to figure out business and stuff. Like that was also my focus. And so imagine, like I just had at the time I had no money coming in at all. And then she sent me a message like, look, we obviously really get along, but you're clearly quite busy, so this just ain't gonna work out. And I remember I messaged her back. I was like, I'm gonna be really it's gonna be really stupid of me if I do not at least take you out on a date or just get to know you. And so we went out, and she has her version of the story, and I have mine. But
on the next season.
Yeah. But after I remember when I met her, I was like, I think after the third date, I was like, I'm gonna marry her one day.
What for you was your gauging of a good person, a good partner for you? Like when you were looking, and also when you did go on that date, what sort of characteristics or qualities were really important for you to go, do you know what, that's going to be my wife? As advice to young people dating now.
Yeah, I think when you look at that person, like it was always a question: can you imagine them being the mother of your child, and can you imagine like building a life with them? And like literally the moment I met Shax, I was like, yes, like 100% hands down. I just didn't know if she was interested in me, actually. I thought she said she friend zoned me at one point. But like 3 weeks in, like I knew like I want to spend my life with her. And yeah, then we went through the whole dating phase, but it didn't last very long because we were dating like 3 months, 4 months. And then COVID happened, so March time came along, and it was the beginning of there was this whole thing about COVID, like no one had a clue what it was.
And we weren't in lockdown at this point, were we? It was just noise about COVID.
That's it, yeah. And I got really ill. Mum got really ill. Like it's the worst I've ever felt in my life. Like to the point you do think you're dying. It's like, what the hell is happening? It was horrible. And Mum was really bad. Like she couldn't get out of bed. Like she could barely breathe and stuff like that.
So you both had COVID.
Both had COVID, yeah. And obviously Mum was staying in her room, and I was trying to stay away from Mum because I didn't want to make her worse and whatever. And then they announced that, okay, we're going into a lockdown. And so a week into the lockdown, Mum was like, she got really bad. Like she couldn't get out of bed. She couldn't breathe. I remember she got up to go to the toilet, and she was just so out of breath. We're like, I think we need to call an ambulance. So we called an ambulance, and Mum made it to the top of the stairs, and the ambulance came. The paramedics came to the door, and they were like, we can't take you because it's COVID. So they went. So he was like, you're gonna have to take yourself to the hospital. So Mum had just got a new car as well. The car you sat on the drive, and obviously she'd never driven it. The first time she'd ever sat in the car was when my dad dropped her to the hospital. I remember she was at the top of the stairs, and I didn't even say bye to her because I always thought she was coming home. I was like, don't worry, Mum, you'll be fine. I'll see you later. And so she went in, and yes, last time I saw her.
Wow.
Which was crazy. Like that whole period of time was just nuts. So about a month she stayed in hospital.
So just backtracking a tiny bit.
Yeah.
So your dad had taken her to the hospital,
Yeah.
and you were at home. How long between going to the hospital and you hearing was that time period? And then how did you feel hearing that? Like, I would be in complete shock and disbelief. What was the time frame, and how did you feel when you heard the news?
I remember dates. Okay, so she had obviously gone in. She'd have tests and whatnot, and then So wait, ask that question again. Was it how long did it?
So between your dad taking your mum
Yeah.
to the hospital, you staying at home, but finding out, what was the time frame between getting to the hospital and then you hearing the news that she'd sadly passed away?
So she was in hospital for a month.
A month. Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
it was a long period of time. So the first couple of weeks. Was it the first couple of weeks? So I remember she had gone in, and the next day she'd had tests and whatnot. She got put on one of those machines, and she had tests and whatnot. And I spoke to the doctor, and he said, "Oh yeah, no, she's fine. She's just having a couple of more tests, and she'll be home." And then the day after, or the day after, called again, and they're like, "No, we're gonna have to keep her in because basically her lungs just aren't working like how they should be. So we need to keep her in, do some more tests and whatnot." And so for a few days, we could speak to her, but then all of a sudden, they said. So I remember they said, if we have to take her in.
Was she hadn't come back and forth home, she was just in the hospital.
Yeah.
And that was weeks of being there, testing, sort of little bits of communication with you.
So yeah, so it was only for the first few days that there was a bit of communication. And then I remember calling one day and they were like, "Yeah, your mum's been taken to ICU," even though they said if that ever did happen that we would get to speak to her before, and we didn't get to speak to her. So she got taken to ICU, and she was put on a ventilator, and every day, like, so we couldn't even go to the hospital, right? We couldn't go to the hospital to see her, to even, like, usually if your relative goes in, you can sit there and just hold their hand or just talk to them. Like, we couldn't do any of that. And obviously she's on a ventilator, she's in ICU, she doesn't have, I don't even know if we do talk to her, can she even hear us? Like, we just don't know. And the only kind of communication we had was around 12 o'clock, midday, every day, we could try and call up and speak to a doctor to get like an update.
Was that like some were doing like video calls and then they'd hold it, or was it how?
No, it was just on the phone. So
wow.
Yeah, we hadn't seen mum like for weeks. So it was just a phone call, and I remember because in our old house we had you had like the living room and then like a second room before it goes to the kitchen, and then there's like two doors that open. So every time that phone call would come, I'd take it, and then I'd be like just walking round and round and round. Like, I'd do like thousands of steps. There's this ringtone that my sister had on her Google phone, and even now, like when we hear it, like it just gives us like
Chill.
Yeah, chill. It's like you just don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear that ringtone because it was that one call that we'd be waiting for every day from the doctor. And the thing is, some days you'd hear like, yeah, she's making somewhat of a recovery. Like, she's done really well. We flipped her on in prone position just to help her lungs, and she seems to be responding. And then next day she's just taken a turn. And so they tried so much stuff, and then so much happened during that period. But we were all together. So Shax had kind of moved into support. My sister and my brother-in-law Dev, they were there at the family home as well, and we all had that time together. Like, we spent that time together, which was nice. Like, it was nice because in some senses, we'd have breakfast together, we'd go walks together and stuff, but there's always this thing just like lingering, like what's going to happen with mum, and
unanswered questions and uncertainty.
That's it, yeah. And like, all you want to do is just be there at the hospital. And I remember one day I spoke to the doc. This is now coming towards like the end of those 4 weeks there. And the doctor was like, I don't know how much longer we can keep your mum on a ventilator for. Like she's not responding very well to the medication or whatever. And we were trying everything we could. We were like, can we get on this ECMO machine and whatever? But they were saying, however much it costs, whatever. Like, mum had very good relationships with like, she was a high net worth insurance broker, and one of her high net worth clients, he's a big celeb. He called, and you probably listen to loads of his songs he's produced as well. But he called me and he said, "Look, how much will it cost to get her on this machine? Like, money's not a thing. We'll pay for it." And I was like, it doesn't matter what we throw at this. Like, it's not gonna. They're just saying they can't do anything. And I remember the doctor said that if they were to put her on this machine, she might come out, and if she does survive, she might just come out worse than anything. Like, she might just be, in his terms, like a vegetable. And then, obviously, we made the decision that, okay, she's not responding well, she's not doing well, so they're suggesting now that, you know, the thing they have to do is turn off her machine. And then I remember that day is the day we got to speak to Mum properly. I say properly, but I don't know if she could hear.
And still, you haven't physically been able to see her.
Been able to go there, yeah. The doctor did say, look, one of you can come, but obviously then, remember, we had no idea what COVID was, but he said, if you do come, you will have to isolate for 14 days and you'll have to, you know, do all that stuff, and you won't be able to be around people, whatever. So once mum passes, you know, you're not going to be able to go to a funeral, you're not going to be able to do all of that stuff. And then I thought about it. I think this is one of the hardest decisions I've had to make, and sometimes I feel, you know, looking back at it now, it's like, I don't know how I feel about that decision that I made, but then I kind of think about it, I'm like, actually, it was the right thing to do. But my sister has a heart condition, or she had a heart condition growing up, and I was like, if I choose to go and see Mum and spend that time with her, my mum will be pissed at me, because if I got ill again, if I got COVID and I passed it to my sister, and my sister got ill, she'll be just, first she'd be so angry that I did that, but put my sister in that position. But also I didn't want to lose my sister as well, if like she ever got it and got really ill, because we didn't know what this COVID was and how it would affect people. And so obviously I made the decision not to go. And I don't say I regret that, but I think about that decision a lot. Like, it just being there just to hold a hand, like, would it have made any difference at all? I don't know. Like, but just being there, like in your last moments, having no one around, like, I think about that a lot. Like that bothers me a lot. And she was young as well. She was 53, so it's not. Yeah. And so that whole day, that whole evening, they allowed us to speak to her over FaceTime. So the nurses put a tablet up, and we were just speaking at Mum, just telling her stuff, and I feel so weird talking about it because it was such a weird.
And we were turning 26, and this was over 6 years ago now. So
yeah,
it's hard to sort of think in retrospect. 'Cause also we're in COVID, so this is like we're learning about COVID, the news constantly. You're in your situation as well, decisions. So you know, understandably, you had a lot to think about and do.
Yeah, it was insane to think that like we're talking. I'm trying to talk to my mum through a camera. I don't know if she can hear me. All I can see is these machines. Like, all I can hear is bleeping. Like,
What sort of things were you saying to her in that moment, if you feel comfortable sharing?
I honestly, I don't really remember. I remember just telling her how much I loved her, like so much. And I know I told her at one point, because I sat on the stairs, and I was like, I'm going to marry Shakira. Like, I'm gonna marry her. And Mum had already met her once or twice before then. I think around January time. That was a funny story actually. Mum just, anyway, so I'll talk about that another time. But Mum loved her. So I was like, I know I've already kind of got Mum's blessing anyway. But yeah, like talking to her through the screen was just weird. And then I don't know if the battery, I can't remember if the battery died, or I kind of remember like the nurse coming over to say, okay, like basically she's going now. And then they cut the call. And then that was it. That was like the last time I spoke to Mum. And that was, 25th of April, 2020. Wow. It was nuts. And then after that, as in, if that wasn't hard enough, I think it was then you have the funeral arrangements and, you know, all the other stuff. Like that whole time was usually in our culture, you'd have people come to the house, bring you food. Like in some respects, I'm glad that people couldn't come because we just had that time together. But I knew after that moment, I knew that there was no one in the family that is going to be able to deal with this situation. And so I just have to just pick up and just carry on. I've always just joked about stuff constantly, like. And so I remember that day Mum passed, I was on the phone to my friends, and obviously they're sitting there on FaceTime, like obviously really they're in tears, they're crying. My mum's died, and I'm making jokes about my mum dying. But I feel like that was my way of like dealing with it in grieving. Like it was quite funny watching people like squirm when I talk about. Even now, I make jokes about it, and people are like, "Oh, I can't believe you said that." But
did you want to burst out crying? Did you want to? I know I would get angry. I'd feel like it's a huge injustice to my mum, you know, to someone who has been there for me, advocated, been a good pillar and a foundation like your mum has been for you. And it's almost like that. Because you're so good with people and you lack energy, you weren't able to give her that loving energy in the moments when she needed it, like she did when you were growing up and supported. What, if you can, do you remember sort of the emotions that were churning for you? And yes, humour's a way to mask the emotions and process, actually. It kind of takes the heaviness a little bit away. But having looked back and thought about and processed actually the journey you've been on, it's just... honestly, just welling up thinking about what you've been through. What emotions did you really feel throughout the whole process?
I don't think I had a chance to really feel anything. And I remember thinking, I was like, it's just unproductive right now. It's unproductive to be angry. It's unproductive to be like really upset, because there's just things to do. Like you have a funeral to arrange. You've got like online budgets to prepare for, you've got, you know, and my sister was not in a great state. I remember there's just one time that she cried, and it just haunts me, like it's haunting to this day. She just dropped to the bottom. She was at the bottom of the stairs. I think it's when they turned off Mum's machine, but my sister dropped to the bottom of the floor and she just screamed, and that haunts me. And I remember in that moment I was like, I can't be sad, or I can't be, not that I can't be sad, but I can't be like, I just have to get on with it. Like
Were
I have
you
to.
like the protector then? You stepped into that.
Yeah.
If I have to be strong to support, you know, being the eldest sibling as well, there's practical things, which the next step you have to think about, logistics, right? It's less emotions based. You almost, like you said, didn't have time to feel your emotions. Did you step into that protective older brother, like, you know what, I just have to be her strength right now, and my emotions will come later?
Definitely, yeah. And I realised it when I was talking to people as well, because obviously phone calls the next day when obviously people found out, like the phones were just off the hook. And on the thing is, like, I know my dad can't deal with this stuff either. So I was like, the only person that can is going to be me. So on the leaflets and stuff for like, not, when the notice, what do you call it, the WhatsApp messages went out to say mum had passed or whatever, like it was my number on it. So my number was blowing off the hook, and obviously the house phone. So it was only me answering it. My dad would answer a couple, but I'd make sure that I was answering most of them. And then there's people like crying on the other end of the phone, and I'm like, I laugh at it now, but I'm looking back, I'm like, don't worry, it's okay. Like I was consoling them the whole time. I was like, no, don't worry, it's fine. Like this is supposed to happen. She's all right. She's whatever. And I kind of find it funny at the same time, because I was like, you're crying. I know that you've lost someone too, yeah, but we just lost our mum. And I'm like, just
let me shed a tear too.
Yeah, just relax, please. Obviously, like mum had such an impact on so many people, so I know, I understand why so many people were like genuinely so upset. So many people were broken by it, like really broken by it. And it's not just family, it's like extended people I don't even know. Even to this day, like every now and again there'll be like a random person that knew my mum that will pop up, and they'll be like, yeah, your mum like kind of changed my life, or and like, it's just amazing, like the impact my mum had. But yeah, during that period I was like, there's not enough time to feel sad, or like you just have to get on with it. There's just stuff to do. But I remember speaking to my friend Viren on the phone one day, and I was like, I just don't feel scared. Like I feel, part of me felt like I wanted to be in one of those, like, you know, those rooms where you just smash things up. I felt like that, but I felt like there's nothing, what worse can happen now, in this right now, that you can't kind of get through this and get to where you need to get to. And then I remember, so the thing, coming back to the whole faith thing, like Monday played such a big role in our lives, but I always say, like, look, whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, I genuinely believe it's really important to have faith in something, a higher being, or, you know, whatever you want to call it, like, have faith in something, because when you're going through those moments, I think just having the ability to just give that to someone else and be like, okay, you deal with it, it's just so powerful. And so in that moment, like, I genuinely think if we didn't have Monday, I don't know where the family would be, because like my nanny was in bits, but it was just knowing that she's gone to Akshardham, she's gone to somewhere where we will aspire to be. It really helped. Like it really, really, really helped.
Is there anything in our culture that gives a sense of like peace with the process of death and losing a loved one that really helped you in the whole experience of losing your mum?
Honestly, the community, for one, like take religion out of it, but the community that you have through Mandir, they were just there for everything, even virtually, or what, we couldn't be together, but just virtually having that there, it was, I can't explain it. Like it's just such an amazing thing to have. And I wish people had that, because you just don't feel lonely. Like you don't feel like you have, you just don't feel alone. You're like, if something's got to happen, you can literally get, the bhajans as an example. Like we were probably one of the first people to do online bhajans, because it was that early on into COVID. And the whole program was just so well thought out and put together. Like my cousins did it, my mama did it, and then we had people from, like Hemel, he did some singing, and just loads of people from Monday, like they joined on. And the program, if you looked at it just as a normal like program, it was sick. It was amazing. Obviously everyone's there for mum and whatnot, but for being one of the first people to do like an online bhajans, like it was amazing. And that's because the whole Monday community came together and you know, helped out and did what they had to. and yeah, like you feel like forever indebted for that. So take the whole religious aspect out of it, but the community is second to none. Like you can't, untouchable.
So you don't have to carry it by yourself, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and you kind of know. Like I knew like Nanny was alone, like up in Coventry, I was in Mama's and stuff like that. But she had her mother in the community always checking up on her. Like the neighbours, they'd always come to the front door and just talk to my nana and nanny through the front door and just make sure they're okay and stuff like that. It's like, it's just, you can't beat that. It's just
it's basic human skills these
exactly.
days. You know, like
yeah,
it's genuine check-in from like the heart, not the head. It's not like you check in because it's transactional. It's genuine care. And obviously, you said your mum did a lot of seva. She believed in that. She was a giver. So in the time that her family needed support, the masses would come because obviously she's a good person.
Exactly.
And you've raised a really good point because loneliness is something people struggle with, and it fathoms me that we're in 2026 with all this tech and we are still really lonely. But you've raised the point that actual physical in-person community spaces is really important to be around, so that when you are going through something like this, you've got community gathered around. In these community spaces, similar to you, I'm in these like community spaces and the Monday as well. There are different aged people that come and go and are part of it. And I really love people's lived experience to give me some kind of peace and know that things are going to be okay. Was there anyone in those communities that had been through something similar that you could talk to someone about and relate to in those communities that you had?
Probably nothing that comes to mind, or not anyone that I was speaking to, but it was always like the conversations was always like, she's in the place that she needs to be. Like she's with Marriage and Swami now. Like she's there. Like there's nothing to worry about. That she's good. So that always, like, knowing that helped. And and this is the thing I always come back to, like, why I feel like people should have a faith, because when these things do happen, or you are going through something, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't have to be a loss of someone, but something terrible, sometimes it's just nice just to be able to, okay, this is your problem now. Yeah, God, high being, whatever you want to call it, but this is yours to deal with, and it just takes it all off, takes it all away from you. But having that really, really helped. That, like, again, coming back to that community, but it really helped because you have people to talk to constantly, people who are checking in, and they're not just empty conversations either. It's like, it's not, oh, just sorry to hear what happened. And like you're having a real conversation with someone like that. I don't know, you just can't put a price on community. And yeah, during that period, there's a whole period of time where no one was face to face at all. So no, I feel really lucky. I do feel really, really blessed to have that. And I'm glad because like I said, without it, I don't know if, like, having that, like, sumjana, I can't think what the English term for sumjana is, but having that understanding, I think really helped my grandparents get through that. For context, like a year later, my nana passed away. I can only, it was definitely heartbreak. Like he just got gradually worse over that year, and obviously he became ill and whatever, but he was heartbroken. Like that's his baby girl, regardless of, age. And yeah, he was heartbroken, completely heartbroken. So then we lost the two big figures in our lives, and it was like, I think what happened, you learn a lot about people during that period, because now I wasn't sure if I was going to say this, but like, there's people that you expect to be there for you, and they're not during that period of time. Family. I had to take on a lot during that time. Like, obviously there's the whole, firstly, you have to get through the funeral and all that stuff, but then there's like, going through probate and sorting out all, like, financial stuff. And I was like, I felt out of my depth for sure, but I had to grow up so quickly. So in some ways, like, I look at mum's death, and if I take some positives out of it, it's like it really forced me to grow up very quickly, very fast. But also you really do learn a lot about people, because some people you feel like they should just be there. You're supposed to be there. You're supposed to help through this. I've not seen in like 6 years since my past.
Is this specific to family, or like some friends that you thought, you know what, you're solid, and then come your time of need, you're like, where are you?
Yeah, I feel like, do you know what? I never had expectations of people, for one. Yeah, because I'm like, if you're going to be there, you're going to be there. If you're not, you're not. Like, I kind of didn't care, because my friends group is fucking solid. Like, I've got a real solid friends group.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, honestly. And like, they were there, like, to help through the process. If I needed them, I needed them. If I didn't need them, then whatever. But they were always there, regardless, on standby. And my wife, of course, like, well.
So I want to explore this actually, because actually a relationship is really important to understand what truly makes a solid relationship, the foundation, the qualities in a person, especially during such a difficult time. How did Shaq's involvement and support to you really help you during this time? And what did you learn about your relationship, and what's really important for a relationship to work and be supportive of each other?
I mean, we'd only been dating 4 months when Mum passed, and she chose to drop everything and come and just be there. And I'm so grateful for her. Like, she really helped through that process, just having someone to talk to. And we're still getting to know each other. We've done life really backwards. Like, we never really went on dates, because obviously we went into lockdown. We just moved with each other. And I knew, I was like, I'm going to marry her. Like, I'm going to marry her. And 4 months after Mum passed, you know, some people say you're not supposed to do anything in the first year. You don't celebrate the wedding and stuff like that. I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to ask her to marry me. And I remember, like, I know I told family, I told friends and whatever, and everyone was like, you're not thinking straight. Like, you're not in the right mental space, or like, this isn't the right thing. I know people said that and thought that, but I was the clearest I've ever thought. And it's really hard for people to grasp that idea and understand that, because it was only been 4 months since Mum passed. So I appreciate it. Yes, Mum's just passed. Are you just thinking because you're not thinking clearly?
Reacting.
And you're just reacting. Sorry, you're reacting because you're not thinking clearly. But I was like, no, like, this is the clearest I've ever been in my life. Like, I know that this is what I want. She has been there through this journey, dropped everything. Like, I can't imagine now life without her. And so 4 months in, I asked her to marry me. And so...
How did you ask her to marry you? I've seen it and I absolutely loved it. But for those new to you and your journey and this podcast, how did you propose? It was one not to forget. That's
yeah. I think, look, life is about memories, and like, and memories, moments, and things you just never want to forget those moments, right? And I was like, everyone does, you know, takes their other half away and proposes
on a boat,
or yeah, exactly,
the same mountain, sea, and
yeah, exactly. And nothing against that, like,
it's beautiful.
Each to their own. Yeah, it's lovely. But I was like, I want it to be really memorable, and I want her to feel like a queen. Like, I want her to feel like this is her moment. But also, like, I know one day when you look back on it, I want it to be like, yeah, this is the best experience ever. And Shaq's she's been big on family as well, and we hadn't seen family for such a long time. Like, we're both big family people, and it was the day before we were going into, like, you can only be around like 30 people or something, or was going down to 10 people or something like that. And so I was like, let's do this. Let's flash mob her, like, with all her nearest and dearest and my nearest and dearest people. So yeah, so a friend of mine, actually, she kindly choreographed it all online. and she sent me videos. Shout out to Ash because she put all this together. And yeah, she did such an amazing job considering it was all online as well.
Oh.
And yeah, so she sent me these videos. I sent them out to like people in their groups and whatever. So imagine no one's rehearsed this at all. But and my sister-in-law, Kimaya, she sorted out this private road where they used to live in that area, and basically blocked it all out. Spoke to all the local residents, whatever, and yeah. So her mum and sister and friend, they said they were going somewhere for afternoon tea. They told her, and so she glammed up and got ready and whatever.
Oh.
And yeah, they brought her down to this private estate, and then she saw my car there with the boot open. She's like, "What's going on?" And she sat in the back, and then my friend Ket, he was driving the car, and then we had this big flash mob to Bruno Mars, "I Want to Marry You," and everyone just, all our nearest and dearest came out, and yeah, it was fun. It was amazing. Such a great time.
Such good energy. If you haven't seen the video of it, the Snapchat, it's bloody brilliant. That. But you're a people person. It's like a statement that family and connection, and almost like making a statement that life's short, and you're really clear on like the right people you want around you. And I think it's so beautiful. And she's absolutely stunning. She is. How you've obviously then had you've proposed, and it's all very exciting, but you know, it's still very new in terms of what you'd gone through with your mum's passing and the funeral and everything. What were the next steps after that? Were you like wedding planning? Did you have a break, or like what happened after you proposed?
What happened after? That was 2020. Shit, what happened?
So long ago, isn't it?
Do you know what? So much has happened since then, and in such a short period of time. So yeah, we got engaged, and then eventually we moved house. So we bought a place, and then we lived there for a little while, and then we got married. Yes. Okay. Cool. So fun. So so after so all that happened, we were still at home for a bit with Dad and whatever. And then life, I guess it's not going back to normal, but it's just happening. And I had, the thing about Shaksia, she met me when I was just starting out this business. I had no money. Like, I was putting everything I had, like even in savings and stuff, into trying to grow something. And I didn't quite know what it was. So like things were working before the lockdown. Like it was on an upward trajectory. I was like, yeah, this is going in the right place. We hit lockdown, and I'm fucked, because what do you do? Like I had no idea what to do, and I had sorry, but even, is it just before Mum passed? Yeah, it's just before Mum passed. I had a DM request on Instagram from a guy called Kevil Tanner. And actually, Kev's one of the people that's actually completely changed my life, to be honest. Yeah, I think if it wasn't for Kev, I don't think I'd be here where I am on this journey today. I don't think I've ever said that out loud to him either. But he DM'd me, he saw I was doing some stuff, and you know, he gave me bits of work to begin with. And then obviously all the mum stuff happened, and hadn't spoken to him for a while, and then he reached out again, and we met in a car park in Sudbury. Is it in Sudbury? Because he had to hand me an SSD to do some work. And so we'd only ever met like that. I think that was the first time we actually met in person, actually. And so I was doing work for Kev and whatever, like just edits here and there. And then as things started to pick up, like Kev got me shooting with him. Like at the time he was doing like weddings and stuff as well. So he threw me in at the deep end. Like I had a gimbal, I had a camera. I'll be honest, I wasn't like amazing at the time. But he just got me on board, and I learned so much from him. Like honestly, like I owe so much of where I am now on this journey of being a filmmaker to Kev. Like yeah, you know, like if you ask me to think of someone selfless, I would think of Kev immediately. Like, he gives without wanting anything in return, and sometimes to his detriment. But like at the time, there was nothing I could give Kev. I wasn't even a great shooter, but he just like, I don't know. It's just like he took me under his wing and just
full on
he
trust.
just let me, yeah. And he was like, I was working with him, and I never felt like he was always watching what I was doing or making sure. He just helped me so much. Just my framing got better. Like, my gimbal work is not because of Kev for sure. I know that's definitely not Kev. But like, I just got better, but because he gave me the opportunity to do so. Like, he always got me on jobs and whatever. And as I got better, like, he just paid me more. He never questioned it. And it, again, like especially when you're freelancing like that, like I work with a lot of freelancers, it's always about how can we get it cheaper. And with Kev, it was like, no, are you happy first? Are you happy with getting paid this? If yes, let's just crack on with the job. And if you're not happy, then speak to me. And there's never a point I wasn't happy. Kev came to me and was like, oh, I think we need to pay you more. Like, do you know what I mean? Who does that? And that comes out of his bottom line at the end of the day.
He saw your value, like you as a person. He's invested in you as a person, and the trust. And sometimes blind faith in someone is one of the best decisions you can make. And look where you are now.
Yeah, it's a good decision you made, Kev. Yeah. Honestly, Kev's just a fucking amazing guy. I owe so much to him. And hands down, like, he's a brother to me. Like, yeah. I didn't even think I was going to talk about Kev today, but he is honestly, like, there's so much I want to say and I don't know what to say. Like,
Would you say that Kev's confidence in you as a person, like your character and getting to know you in terms of your ability to empathise, you are just a genuinely kind of person, that then gave you the confidence to keep going with the filmmaking career, keep being creative and trusting that actually, do you know what, you're good at this? Like, someone's belief in you just made you sort of rock it and go, yeah, I'm doing this.
Yes, to answer your question. I just don't know if I ever thought about it like that. I think it's hard to explain. It just happened. Like, Kev was just there through that whole period, and he's always sending me work. He was always like taking me on shoots and whatnot. And do you know what it is? I've never had an older brother or someone I could like ask for help like that. And Kev just almost just slot into that place. And it was like anything, especially when it came to like this stuff, I was like, I could just ask him. Do you know what? It's even like equipment. Like when I started getting like jobs and stuff in, Kev was like, yeah, just take it. Whatever you need, just come and take it.
Uh-huh.
I was like, that is, sorry.
No,
just
don't
want to
worry.
double check it's, did I press record? Yeah, even like with equipment and stuff, like it's an expensive hobby to say the least. But Kev just gave me equipment. He was like, yeah, take it, like whatever you need. If you need help with anything, whatever. I think I've always been confident. Like I've loved doing this. So I've always been confident in myself to get better. And it was never so much about the production side of it. It was always like, I always wanted to still tell people's stories. And I think Kev saw that, and he knew that was what I was really good at. So he'd get me on those type of jobs, like documentary stuff that we've done together. And when we finally did come out of lockdown, there was a project that we worked on with this music project with Ragatip, and he was like, yeah, you come and do the behind the scenes for it, and tell the story like from your perspective. And he completely trusted me with that process. And I enjoyed it so much. Like but the fact that he just believes that, yeah, Pri's the guy for this, he can get this job done, and he had me on it. Like, yeah, it's just from there it's just been like up, and you know I've been working with Kev now for ages, and through Kev now I met Jatin, I've met Toby, and so many other people, and yeah, then now we've got business together. We work together really closely. Like, his daughter is my goddaughter.
Aww.
Like, yeah, he's just a very, very special person. Very special person.
Yeah, I think the word you actually said there was belief. And so for someone who's also had to take on the protective role, being strong for everyone else, having to deal with left, right and centre, he almost took that responsibility a little bit away from you and go, let me help you. Let me help you for a change and give that back to you. And I like that you've definitely got a good dynamic between you two, and you've explored like your own business together. You're doing the podcast Foundry.
Yep.
How did that come about? And tell us a little bit more about Podcast Foundry.
Yeah, so Podcast Foundry, we've done podcasts anyway, like loads of them. And at the time I was editing a couple of podcasts that just come regularly. And I told Kev about it, and then literally I think within 2 hours later, Kev called me. He was like, I've had an idea. I was like, here we go. One of Kev's ideas again. And he came to me with this whole, like, he'd already planned it all out. And he's like, why don't we just set this up as a business? And that's kind of how it started. And yeah, so we went on that whole journey of setting up Podcast Foundry, doing our own podcasts. I know we're not being consistent with it, but, and then Ideas Fest, Founder Stories. We've done a lot, we learned a lot. What Kev's really fucking amazing at is building brands and building businesses. Like, you can sit with him for an hour and he'll just, I don't know what he does and I don't know how he does it, but he just knows how to get there. He knows how to take you from here to here. And so he's always known about the open journal. Again, coming back to that for a second, but he's always known that about it. And my problem is when I started the open journal, it was a passion project. But I was like, for me to be able to do this and continue doing this, like, I have to make money. Cool. And so that's how I got into then the wedding space and taking on all these other things. And that project just kind of sat on the sidelines. It was like, one day I'll come back to it. And honestly, being a father has changed the way that I film and the way that I see life and do things. And God, there's so much to talk about now, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to come to the fatherhood aspect because it's tying in quite nicely, actually.
So, I forgot where I was going, actually. But then, so Kev's always known about the open journal. And it just came a time where it's like, now is the right time. And I was out on a shoot one day, and my phone was just popping up on my pocket, and it was just Kev. And then I was looked at my watch. I was like, "Oh, it's Kev. I'll check this out later." But it just kept coming. He was like, and then when I read it finally, he's like, "I'm really sorry. Don't hate me. Like, but I've just built the brand out for you." I was like, "What?" I looked at it. He just built out the whole open journal brand, and he just took it from. It's been this idea. We've spoken about it, and just took it from like. Almost like nothing, or to what it was before, to what it is now. It's fucking amazing. Like he's just so good at it, and he's done that for so many people. He's done stuff for like Red Lotus events as well. He's been working with and GP surgeries that he's worked with. And he's just so fucking good. Honestly, he's so good, and I don't think he sees it. I think he knows he's good, but I think everyone should know how fucking good he is.
Because when you're in it, you can't actually see the outside of it because you're so in it and doing it. But it's almost like the timing was right for you to sort of get that going, and the vision's there, the idea was there. It was just waiting for the right timing. And I'm a firm believer in sort of divine timing, or timing when things are meant to be, to make it happen. So a huge shout out to Kev for doing that. And actually, I wanted to ask you, what's been your sort of favourite open journals stories that you've done so far? If you had maybe top 3?
Honestly, I don't have a favourite. And I'm not genuinely not just saying that, but I think what we spoke about before, when all these stories become like such a big part of your life, and I feel like every single open journal I've done has kind of shaped shaped the way that I choose to live. On Sunday we did one of Manar Dada. He's lived such a rich life. Like he's 87 years old, and he's had a lot of dukkha in his life as well. Like he's gone through a lot, but he's someone who just gives. Like he's helped so many people on his journey. So imagine like he was born in Kampala in Uganda, and when he was like 5 months old, his mum sent him to India. So he hadn't really met his parents. So he grew up in India for the first like 14 years in a place called Sojitra, and then he moved back. When he was 14, he moved back to Kampala, and he met his parents for the first time. And he was only spent like 3 years with his dad. His dad passed away. A year later, his sister passed away, and then I think what happened. And then there's just so many things have happened. So, and then obviously he moved over here to the UK with £20, 20 shillings, and he's just built a life. But he's helped people. He's brought people over here, helped them, build them up. He's just done so much, but it's always been for other people. So even that period of time where he lost his dad and whatever, the way he lived his life was for his family, like to make sure that they're okay. So there's one story that really stuck out to me actually, was that he was studying, but he knew that he overheard this conversation with his mum and his dad that, you know, his dad's really ill. So he went to his head teacher, young boy, imagine he's like, what, 14, 15 years old. He's gone to his head teacher and said, look, I need you to fail me so that I can go and just work. And his head teacher was so moved by this that obviously he failed him. And he told his dad, and his dad didn't tell him that he knew, but they were obviously so moved by this. But then he helped him get a job, and this job helped him, you know, look after his family and all that stuff. But it was never for him, it was always to look after other people. And I just took so much away from that conversation. Like we sat with him for like, what, 5-6 hours, and there was so much in there that I took away from him. I was going to share another story, but I'm going to butcher it completely, so I'm not going to bother. But I think that's the thing with the open journals. It's really hard to pick a favourite, and I'm not just saying that I don't have a favourite. They all mean something to me in some way. Yeah.
I love that answer, and that's why it was almost like a test to go, which one's your favourite? Actually, everyone's story is so unique that they're all your favourite, and they all touch you in different ways in the lessons that you learn. So then I want to come on to you being a dad. So all these open journals, you learn a lot of you hear a lot of stories, there's a lot of messages in terms of the older generation that you've filmed, and hear their stories. You learn a lot from them, right? And you love taking that away.
Yep.
Now becoming a girl dad with a beautiful daughter, you've got a beautiful family. How did you feel actually knowing you were going to become a dad? Like, what was that like for you, knowing, oh my God, we're going to have a family?
I've always wanted to be a dad. Like, going back to before when I said I never wanted to, it wasn't about making loads of money for me. It was like, I just want to have the freedom to be there with my family. So if someone asked me now, like, are you happy and have you achieved everything you want to? Like, the answer is yes. Like, I'm so happy. I love my life. I have the best life ever. Obviously, you're always going to want more, but I'm happy if this was just it. Like, I have the best life. Like, I get so much time at home with my daughter and with my wife. Like, it's just amazing. But when we found out we were going to have a girl, I can't even explain. It was just the best feeling ever. Like, and she's just grown up to be, she's turned 3 now. But she's got really good humour. Like, she's really funny, and I'm really glad because she's taken after my side of the family, for sure.
Those DNA genes are strong.
She's just on it. It's weird how like a little human being can teach you so much about life when they've barely lived life themselves. The way she sees things, like I did a little small snippet like a mini documentary on it, and I want to make like a series out of it, because the way she sees things, like it's everything to her is brand new, and the way she like interacts with the world is like the things that we just walk past on a daily basis and just ignore. I used to take her for a walk every morning when she was tiny, and I'd make a point just to stop and look at like the leaves and the flowers and just point it out. And I think then I realised that there's so much, not that I didn't realise before, but you realise even more that there's so much beauty around us, and we just forget, because it just becomes like normal, like it's another tree. Or, do you know what I mean? It's
just another leaf.
It's just another leaf, but there's so much beauty around us, and we just don't stop to think and take it in or acknowledge it. But when you look at a little 3-year-old stop and like, oh look, Daddy, there's an ant, there's a bug. Like after school, guaranteed, we'll stop outside. She's like, Daddy, I want to play with the bugs. I'm like, okay, cool. So she'll sit there and she'll like play with the ants and whatever, and it's cute.
We always do that. You make that triangle,
yeah,
shape, don't you? And you're like, okay, either I've trapped you, you're going to get on my hand somewhere.
Yeah.
But this is what you said about way earlier when we were talking about you just being present and holding space. Before your daughter came along, she's doing the same thing now, but you've literally been so consistent in holding space that actually now that your daughter's here, she's almost like reminded you that that's what you love and enjoy too, and that's why you have such a good bond. Were you ever nervous about becoming a dad? Like, was there anything that you were like, oh my God, crap, I'm going to be a dad? Or were you just like, I'm really ready for this?
Nope, so ready, like so ready. And it helped, like we have a really good dynamic, because Shax she's a killer in her work. Like she's such a boss bitch, man. Like, it's
Shout out to
amazing.
those independent strong women.
Honestly. And like I love my work. I love what I do so much. But obviously like Shax brings like the more of the stability, I guess. And that's really allowed me to grow and flourish with the business and do what I need to. So they're like right now we're going with the business is a bit of a transition period where like I'm not taking on certain bits of work because I really want to refocus in and realign the work with what's true to myself. And I can only do that because of Shax's support, for one. Like, I don't know, there's not many women I know, but, I probably shouldn't say that because there's probably loads out there, but...
that we know of.
Yeah, there's not... She doesn't question it. She's like, yeah, do whatever you got to do. Like, whatever you got to do, it's fine.
She believe in you.
Yeah, like, just... I don't know, she doesn't even... it's just everything she does. She's just so supportive. Like, I never feel like... Obviously, sometimes as a man, you're like, okay, cool, maybe you should just carry on doing whatever you need to do because you still need to provide and you've got to do what you've got to do in the house. But when I spoke to Shax, I'm like, look, I need to take this. I need to do this. It will pay off eventually, but I have to make this transition. So yeah, do what you got to do. It's fine. Like, I'm like, can we talk about it? She's like, no, it's fine. Just do it. Like, it's
like an unconditional support.
Yeah.
She's got like whatever you guys, any hurdles, whatever you got to go through, she'll be there. Like,
exactly.
It's almost like, how important then is loyalty and support to you in what you want to do and your dynamic in your relationship?
With me and Shax, or just generally?
You and Shax.
I don't know. It's never been a question. So again, that's really hard to answer because I've never seen the other side of it in our relationship. Like, it's always just like, it's a given. So the support's always there. The loyalty is always there. The belief is always there. There's never been a time where I don't feel like she has never believed in me or what I'm doing. Like, she met me when I had like nothing and I was starting from scratch to now where the business is and how we've grown. Like, that's amazing. Like,
You've actually shown the flip side of the typical roles that we think we need to take on as, you know, men being sole, like, primary providers in terms of work and the money and that kind of thing, and then the women being more like the nurturing, the family oriented, have a job, of course, you know, building a career, but the man's always seen as the one to protect and provide. You've done it in the flip way. You've gone, it's okay, this is how we work, this is what's important to us. And I really love that, because it makes you think, as long as you've got the right community and people around who are loyal, who are supportive, who believe in you, you can achieve exactly what you've achieved. And you get to spend more time with your daughter.
100%.
And I think the dad-daughter dynamic is really, really important in terms of the emotional support and stability. Talk to me about being a dad with her. What are your favourite moments or memories with her? And what has your relationship with your mum taught you to do and be with your daughter? What are you carrying on in terms of how you raise your daughter?
Yeah, like I'm really lucky that I've chosen this path so I can have time with the family, and I'm so grateful that I get so much time with her. Like, our relationship is just amazing. Like, it's the best. Like, when she's away from home, or if I'm away from home, I find myself just looking at photos of her because I miss her. And then, like this weekend when I was away, don't forget, we spend so much time together, but when I come home, her mood is just completely different. It's like dad's home. And she just gets so excited. Like, Sunday, she couldn't sleep. She was like messing around so much because dad's home. And I don't know, she makes my heart so warm. Like, she's just the best little thing ever.
Look at the smile on your face.
Yeah,
You don't
just,
have to say anything. There's so
she's-
much love there, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
You hold a very safe space for her to, you know what they say, when children act up or they're kind of, you know, a bit noisy or whatever, it's actually because they're really safe in your presence to just be, and you do that really well.
Yeah, I think she's taught me to be patient, because kids are a fucking headache sometimes. But she's taught me to be patient, and she's taught me to slow down. Obviously, being in this creative space and doing what we do, sometimes you're like 100 miles an hour, especially when you're running your own business. You're doing so many things so fast, but she's taught me to slow down and just take things in. And it's just weird how like a little human can do that. But I also, there's nothing that's more important than my daughter and my wife, but obviously my daughter as well. But I've noticed a lot of times, like when you have like work calls or stuff like that, like some people get a little bit annoyed with their kids because they're making noise and whatever. But I always make it known that, look, my daughter's around, she's with me, so there's going to be noise, like, or she might want to come on the computer, and it's just the way it is. It's completely fine. I guess it's different because I work for myself, so it's okay. I don't know if I could do that if I had a corporate job, if it would be the same, but she's really changed the way that I make films.
And what?
This whole change with like the open journal, like taking on the open journal route now. She's a big reason for that, because I remember thinking, and I think about it a lot, I was like, if I'm not here anymore, will Soraya be proud of her dad? Will she be proud of the things I've done? And the work I do. Sometimes you're like, oh, what is natural? Like, oh, what does your mum and dad do? Like, whatever. And I want Soraya to, if I'm not here, I want her to be really proud of what I've done. And it's like, I don't know if she could be proud of, like, you know, highlight videos or, you know, stuff like that. It's great. I know we're good at this stuff. I know. So keep booking us. But I don't know if something that she could talk about with pride and be like, my dad's doing something of meaning. And so, like, when I'm working with the open journal and doing work with the open journal, one day when she understands what the project is and what it means and what it's doing for people, but also for our family as well, in terms of like the things that I learned from it and whatever, I think she can be proud. And that's what's kind of shaping the way that, or shifting the way that the business is moving and the direction we're moving in now. But also, like, I always have my camera out, like, all the time. Like, I'm going to be that creepy uncle at functions in the future. Like, but I have this fear, like, that I'm going to forget things, or like forget moments and memories, and even it's just the little things. Like, there's something I wrote recently, and it was about how some of the most interesting things in life happen on a random Tuesday, which seems, it's just a normal day. Like, you know, you wake up, you brush your teeth, go to school, do all this stuff, but it's those moments, those little things that, you know, when this morning when she came down and she didn't want to eat Weetabix this morning, so she was sitting there, but she was like, Daddy, what can I have? It was just the way she was. It was like, it was just really sweet, and it's like just those random little moments.
They're so free, isn't it? Like, they're so not animated, but they're just authentic in how they feel in the moment.
Exactly, yeah. And it's I see filmmaking now very differently. Like, it is about those moments. It is about those random Tuesdays, or just those random things. It doesn't have to be like a big milestone event in your life that you have to capture. Like, it's all about those little things, and those are little things that you will forget eventually. And it also ties, I think that ties in with mum passing as well, because there was a point where people just get on with their lives, and that's a week after, 2 weeks after, because life just moves on. And in the same way, you have to move on. But I never want to forget. Like, I don't want to forget things, and so I journal, and journaling's great, but there's just something about capturing it on video that you can't get from journaling. Like, just having that moment and being able to relive it over and over and over again.
Like the essence, the energy, the voices. You know, like, I don't know if you find this, but a photo versus film, photos, yes, they're still images, they're great, you see what you see. But with film, it's almost, you feel the person, you feel the energy, which you said early on, very at the beginning, you feel people's energy. And so that's your way to connect, isn't it? And feel relatable to people, or have those memories. Do you find filming now people's stories, the open journal, you know, your own family, that it's also a way to capture moments in case time's too short, similar to, you know, it being short with your mum's journey? Would you say it's
exactly that? Like, I don't know if I'm going to be around forever. Like, you just don't know, but you don't know,
well, not
right?
forever,
You're not
but
yeah, exactly. Like, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I do think about that. Like, I want her to have just a ton of memories. Like, she can look back on all these videos in 4K.
I know,
as well.
upgrade from the disposables that we had, and you look at the window.
Exactly, yeah. So she can look back on all of those and just be like, that was my dad. Like, even though I'm behind the camera, but she can still hear me. She knows at that moment it was me that she was with. Like, I try and put up the camera and just in a corner somewhere, so me and her can just do whatever. Even if it's like, I've done it where we're just playing with sand and, you know, just doing silly little things. But I want her to remember that. I just want her to know that I was there and I was present, like, all the time.
I think she does, and I think,
yeah.
Besides from being proud of what you do, given what we've spoken about, learning about you today, I think she'll be proud of you as a person. Like, my dad's a good person. My dad's there for me. He's a giver. He's protective. Like, all these qualities, in addition to what you do in the giving back, I think I have no doubt she'll be proud of you, 100%.
That's nice to hear.
What, from when your mum was around and, you know, growing up with her, some of the little life lessons or little, you know, punchlines we have that we never forget? Like my mum would always say, I would never be defeated. I would never let someone defeat me or be a defeatist. Some of those things growing up, that would you say you're also saying or teaching your daughter now from what you've learned from your mum? Or is there anything that you've learned that you're passing down?
It's just the way my mum was with people, I think. It's not something she said, but she lived it. And I know she just treated everyone with respect. Like
that.
Everyone. Like, when she used to work in Croydon for a little while. And I think like, every time I think she'd go in like once a week. But every time she'd go in, there was this like one homeless person that she'd just like obviously give food to or money to or whatever, but she'd spend the time with them. But it was like anyone, she just treated them with so much respect. To the point where I didn't know this until afterwards, but I had friends that came round who were maybe going through like a difficult time or whatever, but they'd call my mum up at 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, I'm struggling with this, like, can I come and see you? And they just come 2 o'clock in the morning. My mum's got work at, you know, she got to be up at like 5 or 6. And they'd come over and just spend that time with her. And she helped them through so much. She just treated everyone like...
Did you know she was doing that?
No, I didn't find out till afterwards. Like my friend was like, this one specific person, he was like, yeah, your mum was there for me, like during like a really, really dark time. He's like, I just called her up and, yeah, I was there. She was there for me. And that's the thing, mum didn't shout about that stuff either. She's not like, it was just part of her personality.
Pure love she was just giving.
That's it.
She was just, that was her character, right?
Yeah. And it didn't matter that she had work in the morning or she had things to do. Like she'd just be there. She'd drop everything if you needed her. I want to be more like that. Yeah, I think about it a lot because you get lost in your life. Like you just get lost doing stuff, and it's really hard to stay in contact. And like, especially now, like I have 5 hours a day to work. Like it's impossible to get stuff done.
Yeah.
And it sounds like the perfect thing, and it is because I get so much time with Soraya. But to cram in to work in 5 hours a day, and again, I only work 4 days a week. Yeah, so I have 20 hours a week to work. Like it's impossible. But I know if mum was in that position, she'd still be able to find the time for the people around her. And I want to be more like that.
Is that because the time you're finding for people are meaningful to you and you feel, I want to do that for them because they are also good people? Like it just comes from the real heart space to want to give back.
Yeah, like, so Shax was like, you spend so much time on the phone during the week, but it is because I'm talking to people, I'm connecting with people, I'm like, and sometimes it's not work related, it's just a normal catch up or whatever, but I just value that so much more than anything else.
You've actually showcased for a lot of boys and men that talking is, for you, was really welcome and something you encourage as well. Like you actively do it, and that's why you've got good communities and connection, and you know, not as lonely as, you know, people that don't have that. So I think you've raised a really good point there in terms of talking and sharing and also listening. So that balance between giving and receiving in a good way. So I just wanted to highlight that you raised a really good point about sharing from a boy male perspective, which often people don't. So I want to say thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
It's bloody brilliant what you're doing. Would you say you enjoy doing creative things with your daughter? And what kind of creative things do you do with her? Kids play with everything, but what do you enjoy most with her?
So we started a podcast together, which is really fun. It was just me and her talking.
Just it's super
talking,
cute.
yeah. But she doesn't like being on camera much more anymore. So we've kind of stopped that for the time being, but I don't think it'll be forever. I think she will do it eventually. I've always been creative. Like I used to love drawing. I was terrible at it, but I love doing it. But right now, like I'll find random days we're together. I'll find stuff just to do. So if there's a cardboard box, I'll cut it up and make it into something with her, and we just spend that time just doing that kind of stuff. And it's just, I think, you know what, creativity really, you have to. How do I word this? Okay. Sometimes when you are bored now, it's really easy just to turn on the TV or pick up the phone or something like that. And I'm trying to really learn to not do any of those, but like to do something creative and just channel that boredom and put it into something else. And so, and don't get me wrong, like sometimes Soraya's there and she doesn't want to do anything. She just wants to just be and play, and it's like, oh, what do I do then? But I'll make sure that, like, if I'm playing with, she's got these magnet tiles, and I'll just make stuff out of that. Like she's got this ball run thing that you can make out of it, and I'll just make my own version of it. And then she ends up joining in. We're doing it together, and all of a sudden, like, half an hour, 40 minutes has passed, and you've made something. Like, you've put this idea out into the world, and you've built it. And the same way, like, many times, like, we have a cardboard box, and I'll make a house out of it, like cut into little pieces. And I don't know what I'm making. It'll just start as something, and then an hour's gone, and you've got this house that's not finished, but it's working. And she's got now somewhere where she could put her princesses, and she loves doing that. She loves loves doing stuff like that. So it's just super fun, man. And I think creativity, being able to challenge your creativity, whether that be writing or drawing or filmmaking or anything, I think it's really important that you take time to do it. Yeah.
You actually said a really great word, which is really important here, is boredom. We often feel uncomfortable being bored because we've got so many distractions, doom scrolling, the tablets, the TV, these annoying reality TV shows that you don't really learn anything from, but it's just something, it keeps your mind stimulated. But actually, the boredom side actually encourages to use your brains in a different way. And you're creating connection with Soraya, with her being curious and going, oh, what's that doing over there? I wasn't interested before, but this looks cool.
Yeah.
And it's your way to naturally connect and bond with her in a safe space. And I love that you've just taken anything from around the house. It's not like you've got an end goal in mind. You just go, we're going to create for the fun of creating. You've made a new, different connection with your daughter to play in a different way, create something new. And ultimately, you're boosting each other's confidence and bond between each other. So I wanted to actually say thanks, because the word boredom is the best word to use here. Be bored. It's the best thing that you could do and feel, because that's when the ideas come, or that's where you start feeling a bit more free, because there's no expectation at the end of it. And so I love that. We all made a little fort or a house when we were younger, and then we realised how expensive they are in reality. And I just prefer this box house right now. But I love that. It's honestly so beautiful. So I think boredom, hit the nail on the head. Be bored. Be curious and empathy.
Be curious, yeah.
Yeah. before we round up, I just wanted to firstly say thank you. You've been an absolute superstar today. And I know we touched on so many different parts of your journey, and you know, I'm really sorry for what you've been through, but it sounds like you're an incredibly brave and strong individual. And thank you for everything you've done for me as well. Where can people find you, connect with you, and what kind of feedback have you had from people that you've worked with as well?
Yeah, or you can find me at Perspective. It's pri.spective on Instagram, and you can find all our details there. If you want to work with us or any projects that you have on, we can help you with. Feedback in terms of work.
And you as a person.
I don't know. Do you know what it is? I like anyone that I've worked with always becomes a friend. And sometimes it's like it's finding that balance between like a friendship and like a business relationship. I don't feel like there has to be a balance. Like it's nice to have friends. just be friendly. Right? Yeah. Like there is that, you know, people always say that people buy from people, and obviously there's truth in that, but I don't do it because of that. It's just nice to.
Are there any qualities that, like, people say that, oh, Priyesh is, he's very inspiring. Priyesh is just a good human being. Priyesh is honest. Like, is there any qualities that you hear from your friendship groups when you're around?
Yeah, but not words I can say on camera.
Fair enough. No, just.
I don't know. I don't know. I like to think people think that I am caring, honest, and reliable, trustworthy. And if they don't feel like that, then sorry.
Then tune out.
Yeah.
There was a question that's just gone out of my mind. How did you feel being interviewed today, given that you're always behind the camera?
Yeah.
How did it feel being sharing your story?
You're a great interviewer. Like you, yeah. I really struggled to express myself verbally.
You've done really well, by the way.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I have some level of ADHD. I think there is, but like I have an idea, and then all of a sudden you think about something else, and I've forgotten what I was talking about. So then I'm like bouncing in my head. I'm like, shit, what was the question? But you're so good at holding space. Again, I know that gets thrown around, but I don't know. You just know when you feel it, and this is I feel really comfortable. You're really good at this, so yeah.
Thank you. Well, from one podcast host to another, honestly, it's been an absolute it's been an absolute pleasure, and I know your family and everyone around you is super proud of you. So I cannot wait to get your story out there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks.
You're absolutely brilliant.